Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a book that basically calls out one of the most dreaded parts of professional life, networking. We're talking about Derek Coburn's Networking is Not Working. This is all about flipping the script, transforming yourself from someone who just collects contacts into someone who actually creates value.
So, the author, Derek Coburn, kicks things off by painting a picture that I think we can all relate to. I mean, look at this quote. He's just gotten home from his second networking event of the week, and he's just completely wiped out. And for what? He spent 5 hours of his time and has pretty much nothing to show for it. Sound familiar? It's that awful feeling, right? A pocket full of business cards, but zero real connections.
And really, this is what the whole book is about. It's this huge shift in mindset. You've got the old way on the left, the contact collector, and the new way on the right, the value creator. It's about ditching that old spray and pray method of just grabbing as many contacts as you can. The book wants you to think of it like this. Stop chasing butterflies with a net and start watering the plants you already have. It's a total switch from a game of quantity to a game of quality.
All right, section 1, the networking trap. So let's get into it. Why is that stack of business cards you collected pretty much worthless? We're going to diagnose exactly why this old school approach just doesn't work for most of us. Well, the book has a pretty blunt take on this. It argues that these big networking events are just filled with people looking for instant gratification. Everyone's playing the short game, just trying to get a quick win. And this quote from David Siteman Garland really nails it. They're like nightclubs, because most people are just looking for a professional one-night stand. Ouch. But kind of true, right?
So, okay, if the old way is so broken, then what are we supposed to do? This brings us to section 2, a better way. It's called unnetworking, and it's all about an epiphany that completely changed the game for the author. And this whole idea really came from a story about one of his clients, a landscaper named David. So get this. David gets a better offer from another financial advisor. We're talking a 3% higher return on his investments. Now, logically, you'd think he'd jump on that, right? I mean, it's a no-brainer. But he didn't. And his reason why is the absolute core of this book. He basically said, look, Derek's referred me clients that have brought in over $2 million for my business. Why on earth would I leave a relationship like that? That's when the light bulb went off. He realized that the value of those referrals was way more important than a few extra percentage points on his portfolio. And that experience right there is what led Coburn to develop this whole philosophy he calls the ultimate tiebreaker. The idea is simple but powerful. Actively help your clients grow their bottom line. If you can do that, you basically make your competition irrelevant. You're not just a vendor anymore. You become this totally indispensable partner. So let's move on to section 3, the value-first philosophy. This whole idea is built on 5 key principles that are really going to transform how you think about your connections.
All right, principle number 1, and it's a big one. Quantity of contacts is less important than relationship quality. It's really that simple. You've got to stop trying to win the game of who has the most business cards. The real goal is to build deep, meaningful relationships with a handful of people. And this totally flips the script on what we're usually told, right? It's all about depth over breadth. So instead of hitting up a different mixer every week, the book says to focus on just 2 or 3 high-quality industry events. The point is to invest your energy where it's actually going to make a difference. Okay, on to principle 2. Success comes from helping others and focusing on client needs rather than self-interest. This is all about changing your default setting. Every time you talk to someone, your first thought shouldn't be, what can I get from this? It should be, how can I help? It's that huge mental shift from what's in it for me to how can I help you? It really does transform the whole dynamic of a relationship. Think about it. If you come to an interaction prepared with ideas or solutions for the other person's challenges, you immediately stand out. You become a resource, not just another contact. Principle number 3 is a big one. Existing connections are a foundation for referrals and introductions. The book's point is that your greatest opportunities are probably hiding in plain sight, right within the network you've already built. These relationships are your foundation. Yeah, it's all about cultivation over collection. It's like you're mining for gold in your own backyard instead of always looking for new territory. A really practical way to do this is to just conduct quarterly reviews of your key relationships. Ask yourself, how can I support this person right now? That's how you turn those relationships into real partnerships. Next up, principle 4, This is where you become more than just a person in your field, you become a connector. Facilitate introductions and create value by connecting people who can benefit from each other. Your value shoots through the roof when you're the one making those powerful introductions. I mean, this is really the ultimate power move. You position yourself as that invaluable connector. You're not just a point on the map anymore, you are the map. And you can actually do this systematically. The book suggests creating a simple system to keep track of what your contacts need so you can spot those opportunities to make a strategic match. And finally, we've got Principle 5, and this is what makes it all stick. Establish systems and habits that encourage consistent reciprocal value exchange. Because look, none of this works if it's just a one-off thing. It has to become a habit, something that's baked into your weekly routine. That's because consistency is what builds real partnerships. All those small, consistent acts of adding value, they compound over time. It's just like compound interest for your relationships. A little investment each week can lead to massive returns down the road in the form of unshakable trust. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually do it? Let's get to section 4, Become the Ultimate Connector. The book gives you a super clear 30-day plan to get started. And it's not complicated, which is the best part. It boils down to 3 simple steps you can start like today. Step 1, do a quick audit of your network to figure out who your top contacts are and what they need. Step 2, make 3 strategic connections for them right away. And step 3, block out 30 minutes every week to make this a habit. Super simple, right? Not overwhelming at all.
All right, now for section 5, our honest book assessment. We've talked about the ideas, but is this book actually a good guide? Let's talk about the strengths, the weaknesses, and our final score.
So on the plus side, this book is fantastic at just dismantling all the old myths about networking. And it gives you a really practical system you can use. The weaknesses, well, we thought it kind of oversimplifies things a bit. Maybe not all traditional networking is useless, and it could definitely use a little more detail for different industries. Oh, and fun fact, some early versions are apparently missing chapter 8, which is weird. So when we put it all together, our final grade for networking is not working is a 7.8 out of 10. It's a really strong book with a message that could genuinely change your career. And if we break that score down, you'll see where it really shines. Practical applicability gets an 8.5. And honestly, that's the key takeaway here. This isn't just a book filled with fluffy ideas. It's a real-world manual for action. It's an incredibly useful tool if your career depends on building strong relationships. So, if this whole unnetworking idea is clicking for you, where do you go from here? Let's look at section 6, Your Next Steps to Success. We've got a couple of similar books for you to check out. First is Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. It's kind of like a high-energy, more aggressive version of this philosophy, a really great companion piece. And then there's The Trusted Advisor by David Meister, which is perfect if you want to go deeper into the psychology of building the trust that makes all of this work. And that really brings us to the final big question. After all this, it really comes down to a choice. Are you going to keep playing the old game, just collecting contacts? Or are you ready to become a true connector? The choice is yours.